to the Past, Series 2, Part 1, written and read for you by Emily Z. Prologue. Max. "Oi, Laura!" Max yelled, splashing and slapping the surface of the water. "Jump in before I push you in!" He climbed onto a blue floaty, stood up, and balanced for a second before he tumbled off into the water. The water in the pool was clear because of all the chlorine and felt cold, but not in a freezing way. It felt good being surrounded by something cool on such a hot day. The pool was half covered by the shadows of the small pine trees growing along the fence that divided the two backyards, half exposed to sunlight. "Yeah, no thanks," Laura said, placing a veggie platter in the middle of the plastic table, carefully arranging cupcakes and cookies on the next. She was wearing a plain white t-shirt about 2 sizes too big, tied at her waist with an elastic band. Her blue jean shorts were slightly scuffed, but no one could tell. "My friends aren't coming for another 30 minutes, Max pleaded. "You can swim for 30 minutes. Besides, it's my birthday today. My birthday. My 9th birthday." William had said, "Give this to him on his 9th birthday," before Max and his parents left. He'd handed them a beautiful box that felt velvety, rimmed with golden clouds and silver stars. A train whistle blasted through the air, startling Max but scaring Laura a lot more. She tripped on her flip-flops and teetered on the edge for a second before falling into the pool. Max started laughing hysterically, and a series of giggles joined him a second later as Conductor William, stepped up from behind the tallest tree. "Did I scare you that much?" he asked Laura. She made a noise that sounded like a drowning horse and gasped, "No!" "Dude, are you kidding?" Max shouted, climbing out of the pool and dripping water everywhere. "That was the best birthday present you could have given me! High five!" He held out a hand, and William slapped it gently. "Are you sure it was the best?" he asked, flashing his trademark smile. It was playful but mysterious at the same time, as if he knew a joke no one else did. "Now that you're here," Laura suggested, "you can play with him." She pulled herself out of the pool and headed toward the sliding glass doors. "Wait," William called, running after her. "We need your help," he hissed as he caught up. "We're looking for Jack at Blue Moon's Lake today." The train to the past. "Thanks," I say to William as soon as we're out of earshot. "For what?" "For saving me from Max," I reply, running toward the train. We tried to keep as many details the same as we could so that this train could look just like the old one. I can say they look almost identical, but there's a different aura about it. It feels new and fresh and strangely unfamiliar might be the right way to describe it. "All right, lead the way, conductor," I cheer, giving William a playful shove. "Laura and Grandpa are inside cooking up another invention," William informs. "I thought you were the inventor?" I prompt. "That's what Child William told me. How is he, by the way?" "Yeah, well, I'm getting pretty busy with this conductor stuff, which is why it's nice to have you help too. Are your parents okay with it?" he replies, ignoring or forgetting about my second question. I decide not to dig deeper. "Yeah, they know I go to the train a lot. They just said I can't live in it, and that I have to tell them about everything we do." "And Max?" "Is super jealous," I say, a grin forming on my lips. "Be careful about how jealous you make him, though," William advises. "Jealousy can make people do really scary things." There's a deeper meaning to that, involving a flying train and a time-traveling door and a glowing necklace and different timelines of me and an evil brother and an explosive bomb, but I nod instead, and as I give a happy sigh when I step into the air-conditioned train, I'm attacked by a ball of fur. The rest of my scream is muffled by William's hand as he pulls the vicious hairball away from me. Looking closer, it's a puppy. Since when am I scared by an innocent puppy? It's a beautiful puppy, too, a tiny golden retriever. Her fur is so soft and smooth and golden, it's like holding a tiny ray of sunlight in my arms. Her eyes are dark blue and glitter with mischief as she bats them in the general direction of me. "Laura's been busy," I comment, still holding the wriggling puppy, who is currently trying to lick my nose away from my face. "Where'd she come from?" William shrugs. "I don't know. Laura came back one day for the dog, and then that dog had puppies. If this keeps going, there won't be any space for my passengers." It's like... Right on cue, Laura's shriek echoes down the hall. Yes, this train is ginormous, it has halls. "Laura, are you planning to calm down so you can come with us? Or would you like me to drop you off at Max's house?" Conductor William calls down the hall. Tempting, but no thanks. Laura skips down the hall and scoops the puppy into her arms, twirling around. Can you believe it, Sonny? Conductor William's taking us to Blue Moon's Lake today! The same lake we've heard about in the ancient legends, the secret power that comes from it. And it's real! Don't you think it's going to be amazing?
Fluff's not coming with us, Laura,
William tells her. This one's Sunny, she says matter-of-factly, still talking to Sunny, and I can't even imagine how beautiful it'll look. Her voice fades away as we make our way to the control room. William nudges aside a dog bed and sighs.
The puppies are really attached to her, and even if I had the power and authority to split them up, and I do, I don't think I could ever bring myself to do something like that. Do you think I'm too nice?
Kindness is a power, I assure him.
Kindness can also be a weakness,
he argues. Why does he have to be so difficult? Can't you see that I'm trying to make him feel better? It is cold. Very cold. And my nervousness isn't helping. How does Jack live here? But despite the coldness, I must admit, Blue Mountain's Lake is beautiful, just like all Younger-Laura's books said it would be. It looks like a scene pulled straight from a fairy tale. The gorgeous lake surrounded by forests where the prince and princess meet, or where the talking animals live, or where the entrance to a magical world is hidden. I've never known there were so many different shades of purples and blues in the world, but the colors I see here beat all my most expensive purple markers and blue-colored pencils 10 to 0. The lake is glistening sky blue, no sign of pollution anywhere, and the trees look like willows, but they're taller and have glowing star-shaped flowers instead of leaves, with long sweeping branches trailing across the surface of the water. A small waterfall splashes into the lake, and the source of the water seems to snake around the entire purple-blue forest. The smell radiating off the trees are amazing, too, like the best perfume in the world, or thousands of flowers tied into a single bouquet. It feels as if this lake is trapped in an eternal sunrise, letting just enough light through to illuminate the scene and reflect off the glittering surface of the water. There's something else about this lake, too. The more I stare at it, the calmer I feel. It makes me want to lie down and close my eyes, like it's actually possible to dream all my worries away. I can start to see possible solutions to a lot of my problems now, too. The longer I stare, the harder it is to pull away. A sharp pain stings my right cheek, and I stumble back a few steps.
Laura!
William yells. Stop slapping me! I yell back. Then I blink, and the world goes back into focus. You slapped me again, I say, still blinking out of the trance. I told you not to do that.
But you were just, staring at the lake. So were Grandpa and the other Laura. I don't think anything happened to me, though. When a new person is named Conductor,
William's grandfather explains,
he or she makes a trip to this lake alongside the former Conductor. It allows them to see past their own selfish reasoning. Don't argue, William, and clear their mind of any doubts or insecurities to ensure safe and...
Okay, perfect, Laura interrupts, bounding ahead. I'm going to check for any evil things.
She is so impatient.
Former Conductor sighs, and we race after her. I don't see any evil thing, young Laura whines for the 10th time since we started searching. You'd think an evil person would hide his things to be just a tiny bit more obvious. Ah! She cuts herself off with an ear-splitting shriek as a giant bird with brown and white feathers dive-bombs her, screeching and calling at the swoops by. Laura's voice rises an octave as the bird, an owl, swoops closer and drops a piece of parchment on her head. It screeches one last time and flies away.
Are you and the bird in a contest to see who can shatter our eardrums first?
William asks, watching Laura carefully unwrap the string wound around the paper. I read it over her shoulder, my eyes widening with every word.
Dear Willie. Wait, that makes it sound like a holiday card. Starting over. Hey, Slowpokes. Look like Willie's finally done something right and brought you to Blue Moon's Lake. You're likely congratulating yourselves on how clever and stealthy you are to have not gotten caught and killed. Yet. Too bad I'm a step ahead of you. Or was it 27 steps ahead, 16 to the right, 12 steps ahead, 8 steps to the left, and 3 more ahead? My point is, I'm prepared for anything you've planned. You're not as smart as you think, Conductor. Please tell Grandfather that I don't forgive him for turning me into a story. P.S. Younger-Laura. Seriously, is this what they're calling you? I think I should be offended by the way you keep referring to me as evil. I'm not as bad as Willie has made me seem. And hey, we have something in common, too. Shouldn't you treat your fellow broken piece with a bit more respect? Jack.
Hey, Jack's handwriting is nice, I compliment. And look, it's a smiley face. I look up to find both younger Laura and William quivering with anger. Former conductor is wearing an emotionless mask. And while we're at it, wow, I'm really terrible at the name thing, aren't I? But this means we were being watched.
We still are being watched, and listened to, and tracked.
An idea clicks into my mind. From one of those movies where the heroes follow a map with no pictures, only words telling him how many steps to walk. Then, suddenly, he comes face to face with the villain. I take the letter from a trembling Laura, muttering the steps to myself as I walk, being careful to take normal steps. Not too far, not too fast, walking as though it was a normal day. 23, 24, 25, 26. William glances at everyone, then quietly starts to follow in my steps. After I reach step 27, I look to the right and see a dead end, covered by violets and flowers. But as I ignore the flower wall and walk straight forward, the wall parts like a lace curtain, allowing me to brush through effortlessly. 8, 9, 10. I count under my breath as William stumbles in. More lace curtains encircling past trees. More walking and counting. 1, 2, 3. My foot slides on a patch of slimy thing which I hope is not a decayed animal. I thump and roll and slip down a tunnel-like entrance and land on an even slimier ground. I rub my head and stand up, but I can't help feeling that there's someone else here with me. 2 strong hands wrap around my throat, holding me in a chokehold. Not hard enough to kill me, but enough to let me know that if they wanted me dead, they could kill me easily. I feel a wish of air above me, and someone grips my head. Claws? Talons?
Careful, Hawk.
A firm voice orders. Where have I heard that voice before?
We don't want to kill her. Yet.
The person, definitely male, shifts his position on my neck.
Hello there, Laura.
The voice says, emphasizing my name with obvious dislike.
Care to tell me about how Conductor William got your memories back?
He practically spits out William's name, and Hawk, who I'm assuming is a bird, digs his talons in a bit deeper. Someone who hates me, but hates William even more. A boy. Epilogue. Jack. Jack crashed through the undergrowth, swatting aside branches and shrubs that were trying to block his path. He kneeled over the source of the noise, collapsed in a heap of sticks and pebbles, the remains of its nest. He stared at the baby bird, its singed wings and feathers, its closed eyes. He was trying very hard to figure out what had happened to it. Its burns were like nothing he'd ever seen before, and its mother was nowhere to be found. It looked like a hawk, or an owl, or anything but a phoenix, a clever disguise. Back to its injuries. He brushed his fingers gingerly over the mythical bird, not knowing whether to feel guilty or relieved when it flinched. At least it's alive. Maybe something had attacked it. Or maybe it had gotten struck by lightning. Though that was unlikely. Or maybe the ridiculous legends were real about the phoenix turning into ash and then starting a new life. Or maybe...
Can you stop with the constant talking?
Jack's voice boomed in the narrator's head, clear as day, as if he were talking to... Wait.
Took you long enough to figure it out?
The narrator really could hear Jack's voice, and he appeared to be communicating with her.
Finally. Now can you stop talking?
Jack, the narrator tried, just to see if it would work.
Yes. What?
Jack, the narrator said again, a bit louder this time.
Yes. What?
His voice answered. The narrator let out a tiny laugh. She couldn't believe it. She just couldn't. None of the other books had mentioned anything like this. The only communication that happened in the stories happened between the characters. The narrators only told the story. They never interfered.
It's not interfering if it was me who started talking to you.
But
what? Good. Remain silent, please.
But the story... The narrator was only able to communicate with Jack's mother, no one else. Maybe she passed her gift on to him. The phoenix was blinking awake now, ruffling its burnt wings and flapping them slowly up and down, as though it could still fly. He scooped it up gently, murmuring soft and comforting words, not that it could understand, and set off in the direction of "Shh!" What?
Don't tell them where I live.
Jack, they're readers. Innocent people reading this book. Not Laura or William. Anyways, and set off in the direction of his home. He lived alone. Well, not with humans, anyway. He lived with animals, but not cats or dogs. He lived with wild animals. So wild, no one could begin to imagine them. Yet here he was, living with them, rescuing a baby phoenix. His dragon-like thing probably wouldn't eat it. Like, if you gave him some extra meat tonight.
Raven is not a dragon-like thing.
Well, then how would you describe him? Or her, whatever it is.
He is not an it.
Okay, he. Can I continue with the story? Just as he had guessed, Raven was waiting for him outside the entrance to his house. And, wow, Raven is big. Giant might be the better word for him, though. Raven, it's weird how you named the dragon thing after a bird, gave a mighty roar, as if he could hear me, the narrator, talking about him. Raven wasn't exactly a dragon. He looked like a dragon at first glance, but upon closer inspection, his wings turned out to be small and bird-like. His tail was short. His coloring was odd, black and silver patterns spiraling across his scales, and he wasn't as big as the dragons in other books. He's just as scary, though.
I feel like an idiot being narrated by a dizzy-headed person like you.
Excuse me.
Well, you are, aren't you?
Jack, the story, please. So, Jack placed the phoenix on a mossy table, stared at it for a minute, and began to apply some sort of cream to its wings. It should work. It treated his burns fairly well, but he wasn't a bird. Oh, please let it work, the narrator prayed in her head. Hush, you. The phoenix gave a loud squawk, then lifted into the air. Its body began to stretch, and its feathers began to repair themselves. It unfurled its large wings, fiery red and orange against the dim stone wall. It had grown almost 5 times its original size in the last 5 seconds. Yay! 2 voices seemed to say, well, think, at the same time. Huh? Jack? What did you say?
Don't be ridiculous. When have I ever said yay in my entire life?
He was about to continue the argument when a crash sounded from the other cave.
Perfect.
Why? What's perfect?
None of your business.
Jack, please, what?
Let's go, Hawk,
Jack commanded, holding out his arm. A gray and brown owl, smaller than the phoenix, swooped down from a perch and onto his outstretched arm.
Looks like our visitors have arrived.
The end. Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed the Trains of the Past, Series 2, Part 1. Links to the rest of the story are in the description section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with family and friends. Series 2, Part 2, coming soon.